Well,
Um,
I mean, what's the point of putting in 30 guns, whatever, and then everyone just uses 4 guns? Why not have every gun? They should all be killing in a couple bullets, just like MW2 style. Every gun was OP. You could go down the list besides the F2K, which actually killed the fastest up close. Why not
yeah,
have every gun be overpowered? Why make everyone use the single assault rifle, single SMG? That's stupid. So
I think there's going to be less of an emphasis on uh, guns that are being overpowered and more of an emphasis on attachment combinations that are going to be overpowered. I think the meta is going to be more about how you frame the gun instead of which gun you use, because it seemed to me like all the guns that I used were pretty good. Like there were a couple standout guns to me. I thought the Odin. You only got to play with the gunfight version of the Odin, which was like a sniper scope and a silencer or something like that. But
yeah.
when I was playing with it, playing up against like Shroud and Doc and all them, uh, the Odin was the only gun. Like once I switched, I started getting consistent kills. And that's just kind of how that's like my barometer of whether or not I think a gun feels is a good is does it feel good? Like do I feel confident when I pick it up and use it? And that was like the only gun I felt super confident with. By the time the alpha came around, I started to come around to like the MP5 was fucking shredding people from up close, and the MP7 didn't have a lot of recoil, so that was good for challenging sort of like more across the map instead of being up close. And then what was the other SMG that was really good? Which one was it?
I forgot. I forgot the names. I just remember the M4 and the AK for ARs were incredible.
Oh, the AUG. Oh man,
Oh, the AUG, man, that thing was a beast.
yeah, that thing shredded. Like it took me a minute to get used to the guns and the recoil pattern, but then once I did, all these guns kill in like 2 or 3 bullets or something like that. It's like, and it feel the other thing too is the headshots. Like headshots actually do something in this game. Like every gun has high caliber just kind of built into it, which I liked personally.
This is an issue in regards to especially PC gameplay. That Deagle, first of all, one of the coolest guns in Call of Duty history.
Oh
This
man,
version of the Deagle.
you can one dig. That's amazing.
That's I'm a little nervous because this
Uh,
goes hand in hand with the other issue that I have a problem with. First was the lean mechanic. Second, and this is going back forever, head glitching.
yeah.
Why do the bullets come out of the top of your head? Why don't they come out of the gun?
I think where the head glitch is like no, I
Are
feel
you
like I'm looking at the
Did you
gameplay
play
right.
Pine?
Yeah, but I'm looking
There
at the
was a
game.
rock.
Okay.
There was a rock that was 1 millimeter shorter than the guy's head. Everyone was sitting behind it, exploiting this rock.
Huh.
The bullets were firing out of the top of your head. Like, why?
So I'm
Why
looking
don't they
at
come out of the gun still?
I'm looking at the gameplay on the stream right now from the alpha, and you can see like the top of their chest and their shoulders up. It's not just their head.
Trust me, look at the rock on Pine. It's just the head.
Maybe it's a
And
case.
bullets are coming out. You have 1 millimeter hit them, they see you clearly. The rock's not even there on their screen, it looks like.
There were some people
That
coming in my
has gotta
chat.
go.
There were some people coming in my chat at the time of the alpha telling me that there was no aim assist whatsoever in the game, and that's just flat out wrong.
That's a lie.
It's just not true.
The same aim assist that used to be. It's a wall hack. It's always been. You could tell if people are behind walls because it will grab them.
Yeah,
It's always been the same mechanic.
I was getting the sticky aim. There's no aim assist with snipers, but every other gun, which I don't even agree with that, but every other gun had varying amounts of aim assist. Now, as far as the deagle goes, I think it's going to be so fun trying to get one digs like from all the way across the map. But the interesting thing about this game is that all the weapons are ballistic weapons, even in MP. So like most of the maps are so small that it's going to feel like hit scan anyways. But I swear to God, like my crosshair, like on Pine all the way across the map when I was going for one digs, my crosshair would be right on the guy's head, and I would still miss it or something like that.
I don't see where there was any velocity or bullet travel in that alpha. There's no way.
Maybe you're right. Maybe
I'd be all about the one deagle headshot if there was some travel, but that was instantaneous. That was hit scan is what it felt like.
No.
Or it's because the maps were that small and they're making huge maps.
Well, it feels hit scan, but every gun in the game and every map in the game and every game mode in the game, it's all of the weapons shoot projectiles. And like different.
They shoot that fast. What's the difference?
Well, if it's a small map, there is no difference. But when you'll know what I mean when you get on the bigger maps, like on the Battlefield style maps. Because if you try
so you're saying you got to aim in front of them if they're sprinting?
Exactly like Blackout. Like if they're like enough of a distance away, you gotta you got to aim slightly ahead of them in order to get
this game just got better in my eyes, and I love that.
Yeah. I'm glad that Fortnite came around because that got me used to projectile stuff with the sniping and stuff. But so I don't think I would have liked that a few years ago, but I've gotten used to a lot of Battlefield players and stuff have been used to projectile bullets for like a really long time. They complain. That was like one of the reasons they would make fun of COD players because you didn't have to worry about that. With hit scan, it's like obviously a lot easier.
I find it easier to lead shots than to track a moving player. I don't know why. It's just easier to me.
Yeah, no,
But
totally. I agree.
shots.
Yeah. Trying to get like 3 perfect bursts with an ABR on a guy who's like 200 yards away is super rewarding.
Oh, the best. But I'll believe you. I hope you can't just deagle across the map and they just die, because on PC, that's perfectly balanced on console. But some of these guys on PC, are you kidding me?
It's 100. I'm 100% positive that every gun shoots projectiles. Positive.
That's good news. That's really good news. Still, the head glitch is a problem to me.
It's also interesting what they're doing with bullet penetration, because different calibers of bullets have different properties when it comes to bullet penetration. Like 9mm, like barely shoots through a surface at all. But then when you get to the 7.67, what's I don't know bullet calibers, man. I'm not a gun person.
I don't have a clue.
I
know like assault rifle and LMGs have pretty big bullets.
The LMG 7.62, that's what it is. The LMG rounds, and I think the AK uses the same round. They shoot through these surfaces like butter. So I thought that was kind of interesting too. I don't know if that's going to make like a huge impact, but
well, I thought it was a little weird. One of the maps had straight up plywood walls, and like the MP5 was not going through it.
Yeah, the smaller caliber weapons.
I mean, it's plywood.
Oh yeah, well that's true.
It's like a piece of paper.
Start like a 9mm round with a piece of plywood, but
yeah, so that was a little weird, but that's all things that they could tweak.
Yeah. All right, so what was your favorite part and what was your least favorite part of what you played? So maybe leaning would be your least favorite part?
Leaning is hand in hand, head glitching and leaning, because head glitching has been a problem for a decade now. A problem.
Well, this game could be very problematic for you, because head glitching and holding a corner is way more encouraged than...
It's not my style, but I could adapt.
All right, so what was your favorite part of the game then?
Honestly, the hope that it's giving. Like, it's not even in the game, just the hope that Call of Duty has a chance. I thought they were done.
That's a good answer. It's very abstract.
Well, because this kind of relaunches Call of Duty again. Honestly, we thought it was just going down all the way to the grave, and this gives huge hope. But other than that, I would say chunky guns, killing immediately, no overshields, none of that trash, killing in 2-3 bullets. That's all I want.
Yeah. If I had to say one thing, I would say that the gunplay, just in general, is my favorite part of the game. Like the rewarding, like getting one kill in this game feels very rewarding, in a way that getting one kill in a game like Call of Duty 4 was not that rewarding, because there wasn't a lot of recoil in those guns, and the time to kill was super, super fast. And so with this game though, you feel like you've earned a kill. Like even if the guy's like 15 feet away or something like that, just learning how to temper your shots to get that kill is super rewarding. And then my least favorite part would, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like all of it felt pretty good to me. Like the 2v2 is just not my cup of tea, so I don't think that I'll be playing it too much. And the big team that I did play, that felt kind of fucking way too hectic for me. So I think I'll probably be sticking with like standard MP. And I'm really looking forward to the way that S&D plays in this game, because I trust these guys when it comes to map design. They made some of the best S&D maps in the entire series, and a lot of those same guys and girls came back to work on this title.
Oh, can we touch on maps real quick?
Oh, yeah.
I hope, I didn't get to play any of the normal size maps, but I hope it goes back to the style of, let's say, for example, Afghan. That was certainly not like an MLG style map. Like, it was completely... It had all kinds of, wide open spaces. It wasn't the perfect mirror image map, that's the classic competitive mode map. Yeah. It was just fun. Let's get that back. Remember Countdown? What a map.
Yeah.
But it certainly wasn't a competitive style map.
No, not at all.
But it was fun.
It was, yeah, under the right circumstances. I think what they I think what they told us was that they are going to, they're going to work on doing a combination of both 3-lane maps and sort of the more atypical maps like Afghan that you were talking about. So I think you're going to see.
That's fun then.
I think you're going to see a healthy mixture of the two. It's not just going to be one or the other. And they got fucking doors that you can open now. And like you can, you know, if you go into a building, you can barricade yourself and close the door behind you, which is something they've never done.
I don't know about that mechanic. I haven't seen it myself, but
I don't want to like praise them too much for that because it's not like they're the first fucking game to put doors in on an MP map. But it was exactly like remember Firestorm? How like you could sprint into a door, and you would just do like a shoulder charge.
Oh yeah.
So you can open the door that way, or you can walk up to the door slowly and hit left trigger, and it'll kind of peek the door open. Or you can just hold X to open the door outright, or you can blow the door open with a grenade.
It's getting too far. Get the doors out. Take them out.
I don't
care. We'll see.
There was one particular urban map that was taking place in like a bombed out city or something like that. I don't like those kind of maps, especially if you have doors, because then you can just barricade yourself. The enemy could be in one of like 18 different buildings in this tiny little area, and so it makes it like normally when you step out of a room in an MP map, you kind of know like, okay, I need to look at that area over there, or that, like, you know, for common spots to look at to see if someone is camped out and just left triggering the door that you're walking out of. But in maps like that where there's like 17 different doors or something, you have to look out for like 18 different places. And like that's my big problem with that kind of map design, and it's not my favorite. So I agree with you. I hope that they do more open maps. They don't need to be wide open, but I favor open maps to closed maps.
I'll tell you what I'm not looking forward to: opening a door and getting claymored from the side. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Or bouncing Betty or whatever is in the game.
They have both, actually. They have proximity mines. They have proximity mines, and then they also have claymores, which feels kind of redundant, but whatever.
I can't stand the claymores. They've always been so frustrating.
So how do you think they're going to do crossplay? You think they're going to do it like Fortnite, where it'll only do mixed parties if you yourself are playing in a mixed party? Or do you think it's just going to be fucking... If you fire it up on Xbox, you could be playing against PC players and PS4 players.
I don't believe they'll do it like that, right? Have they went on record to say? I think they'll do it like, if you're on PlayStation, I'm on PC, I invite you. We're now matched up against PC players.
I think, the way that they did it with Blackout was that, oh no, they didn't have it for Blackout. But the way that they did it for Fortnite was, if you had a mixed party, it wouldn't put you in a PC party, it would put you in a mixed lobby. So like
if there's enough players, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. If there's enough players, but then if there weren't enough players, they would just pair you up with PC players. But I feel like Fortnite has kind of changed that paradigm a little bit, changed players' expectations, because we've seen controller players play and compete at the highest levels of Fortnite and do kind of okay. So maybe this will be the thing that like changes people's expectations or changes people's minds, you know? Like maybe...
Fortnite's a little different because there's bloom on the guns, so it's not exactly pinpoint, but that is severely impressive to be on a controller and build like someone on a PC and compete with them. That is the skill of Fortnite.
Yeah. But
the shooting is not pinpoint in Fortnite.
Dude, I think they might just say fuck it and just do completely cross-platform. And just anybody can play against anybody. I really think they're going to do that.
Then people will be like, oh, the PC players will just destroy. No. If you ever play Black Ops 3, what people used to do in that game on PC, if you plug in a controller,
you get aim assist.
Then had aim assist, you could not stop them.
It's
that was the game.
Same thing with Fortnite. Like, what do you call it? Like reacquiring, where you let off L trigger and then squeeze it again, and you just keep doing that, and then the aim assist kind of sucks you to their character or whatever.
They were incredible.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone off the bat thinks the PC gamers will destroy them. It will be the other way around.
As long as they can find a way to level the playing field so that it's not like the aim assist isn't way too crazy on the controllers, but they're still able to keep up with PC players, and I don't see what the fucking problem is. It's
going to cause a lot of trouble if they just let it go from the beginning like that. I think a lot of people will be yelling on both sides, everyone will be screaming.
Yeah, but I think you're looking at this through like a 2015 lens. Like I really feel like like Fortnite in particular has changed people's expectations, and it's got to be easier for the devs too when you think about it. Instead of trying to get these servers to, adhere to these like pinpoint criteria before you match people up, if you just leave it wide open, I suspect that's probably easier for them. I don't know.
It's just tough.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
There's some players on PC that I know that if they have that deagle, it's gonna be game over.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we were playing with Shroud, and he was doing well, but he wasn't like.
Yeah, but that was his first time on the game.
But he was even saying like during the event that the controller players were lasering him.
Absolutely. From mid-range controller player, it's incredible. You could track someone like you just simply can't on a mouse,
Yeah.
But it's gonna be tough to tell. I'd like to see how they do it though. They didn't say anything about how they're doing it.
No, they said they're gonna reveal what they're doing for crossplay at the end of September after the betas, I think. Because I just looked at their roadmap for September or leading up to the game's launch. So I think I think they're saying that they'll make an announcement in about a month here, something like that.
Well, I think it'll be awesome to not have a Call of Duty die within the first few months on PC.
Oh, thank Christ, man! Yeah, that's such a bummer that Blackout it had a really solid player base for probably three or 4 months. Yeah, it was perfect. It was like the best BR I'd play. I thought it was the best BR, and then. Fucking 5 months later, it was taking 5 minutes to put me in a lobby, and it would throw me in a lobby with 25 people, and it would start. The game would start with 25 people. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, the changes they made simply didn't work. It killed off the PC population, and then Apex came out and really just beheaded them.
Yeah,
but,
I was expecting them to take a lot of people away from PUBG, but I underestimated how fucking fiercely dedicated PUBG fans are. They fucking go nuts over that game.
I mean, they put in that one shot, the tack knife into Blackout. That was it. The game was done right there on PC.
It's so
Tier 3 with the tack knife.
Dude, it's so hard. It's so hard to win a game of solo Blackout for me now because there's so many one shot, and there's like a bunch of cars too. Like I had a situation yesterday where I had 2 cars in a solo game that were trying to run me over as a sniper was taking shots at me. 50 people.
Oh, that's terrible. That's not a fun experience.
I didn't have any mesh mines. I didn't have any sticky nades. All I could do was just like jump on top of this rock and just try to. It was the worst. All right. So we need a couple more things, then we're done here. So what do we think about the possible BR situation? Or do we have any predictions for that? Because I feel like they're not just going to do the standard 100-person BR.
Well, if you're talking about potential 100v100s, that means this BR has huge potential.
Well,
they're already floating those ideas around.
There was a rumor, and there was a rumor that popped up a few months ago. Because following the announcements, like they said they have no plans for a BR, but then like a couple months later, there was some article saying that there's a rumored 300-person BR.
What the heck?
That's going to launch as a separate free-to-play experience sometime in January or February. That's total rumor.
I mean,
I don't know if there's any legitimacy to that, but
I don't think we need a 300-person BR at all.
I mean, think of how fucking awesome it would feel to win a 300-person solo BR.
Well, the problem with that is in every BR that I've ever played, it always becomes the hot zone. Now, 250 people are going to land there off the bat.
Can you imagine?
I want nothing to do with that. That sounds terrible.
Well, the way that they could get around doing that is if you obviously the map would have to be big enough, and instead of one helicopter that you jump out of, that everyone jumps out of, you do like 3 or 4. That come in,
5, 10 maybe.
Come in at like different angles, and they don't have access to the whole map. You know what I mean?
That would be pretty cool. But at that point, the map is just too large.
Well,
how many zones are you gonna have to travel? Like, okay, the starting zone, it's gonna have to be enormous, because if you're caught, one region of the map, you gotta get to that zone. These matches are gonna go on for way too long, probably.
Well, you'd have to have, obviously vehicles and helicopters and things like that. I mean, I'm just saying, like, whatever they do, I think it's not just going to be sort of like the standard BR experience. The vibes that I get from these guys is that they really want to shake things up. And I feel like Fortnite drew blood. Fortnite and PUBG drew blood in a way that we basically haven't seen since the start of Call of Duty's hegemony, like their total dominance in the FPS space. We haven't really seen anyone come around and challenge that until the BR genre kind of exploded and Fortnite really took over. So I think that they're going to really try to set themselves apart. So that's why yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. What made Fortnite so good to me, especially in the early time, the first few months or whatever, even the first year, there were no vehicles. You could run across that map. If you get a huge map with tons of vehicles, you know how frustrating that's going to be to watch 18 helicopters in the air at any given point?
Right, yeah.
With the tanks and who knows what. Less vehicles, more fun. That's what Battle Royale is to me.
Yeah.
More vehicles ruins it.
Yeah, I don't mind the vehicles I thought they actually did a pretty good job of balancing the vehicles in Blackout. You remember when we first saw the trailer for Blackout and it's like, oh god,
that was insane. They had people with rocket launchers on like quads doing tricks and stuff. That was all about vehicles. I don't know why they went so far into that when the gunplay was actually so good.
Well, we didn't even know if the vehicle, like, there was some, like, I thought maybe that there was like miniguns and rockets coming out of the helicopter. I'm like, that would be so fucking dumb. Like, imagine
it was horrible.
Like, imagine looting up for like 30, 10 minutes or whatever, and then you just killed by a fucking helicopter rocket or something. But all things considered, I thought they did a pretty good job with Blackout because the vehicles were so vulnerable. Like, one mesh mine will kill most of those cars. The only one that doesn't kill is the armored car with the minigun and the armored SUV.
Which really weren't needed in that game whatsoever.
No, yeah, I agree with that. I don't think they should have been in.
They had good balancing at release with vehicles. They did not need extra cars.
Honestly, just take everything except for the ATV out. Like, just take all those vehicles out of the game. I think it would make it a lot less frustrating.
I'm all about less vehicles. I don't think anyone's ever had a good time when a vehicle's coming towards them.
Yeah.
No one likes that. Unless you're shooting mesh mines and whatnot at them. Otherwise, it's pretty annoying.
Yeah, I agree with you. All right, and then the last question that I have here is, how do we think this is going to affect the trajectory of the series? Do you think
that is a deep-rooted question?
Do you well, because these games, they're their own independent studios, and when you talk to them, they'll sort of give you the line like, we have total freedom, we can do whatever we want, but you can see it year to year how these titles influence each other. I think the best example of that is going from Black Ops 3 to Infinite Warfare, just how similar those games were, even though they were made from totally independent studios. Well, how independent could they be? Because so much of these games are rubbing off on each other. The big rumor is that the Call of Duty that was in development for 2020 was canceled. And
really?
And they moved Black Ops 5 up to 2020. And now Treyarch only has 2 years as opposed to the normal 3 years that these studios get. But the rumor is that the Call of Duty that was being developed by Sledgehammer, right? Sledgehammer and Raven. They just totally scrapped it because it was like in development hell. Like, there was some nightmare that was going on with the development. So it could be that we go from this game to Black Ops 5 and they feel like totally separate games again, and Black Ops 5 is like more of a return to the Black Ops 4-3 kind of feel, which would really kind of bum me out. Like, I hope that this game sets a precedent.
Well, can't we just not have Call of Duty every year? Can't we just have a Call of Duty that's that good that we could play for 2 years, like normal games?
We can talk about what should or shouldn't be the case, but the fact is that Activision is this publicly traded company. They have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, and there's just no way they're ever going to ramp down
DLCs. Because then, as soon as the next Call of Duty comes out, they don't want work on these ones that are out. They want you buying the new ones.
Oh yeah.
The support kind of just ends. It's over.
Well,
a couple patches here and there.
That actually hasn't been the case in recent history. Like, Black Ops 3 was getting updates up through like last year.
Well, it depends. Like, if this game is really great, you don't want it to just kind of go away.
I think
Like,
I think their emphasis is just to have as many people possible playing a Call of Duty game.
Absolutely.
But they put the focus on the new game. But I don't think they mind if a player is still playing Black Ops 3, 2 years or 3 years later.
But I'll tell you what, this is not good for Treyarch. They lost a year to make this game. It's not on them if this comes out like trash.
Hopefully that's not the case. Treyarch has a pretty amazing team over there, so I'm confident that they can make a good game. It's just I feel bad for the crunch that they must be feeling over there.
They're put into a bad position. Something's going to get axed, whether it's a battle royale or who knows what. But if this battle royale is not coming out until next year, I'm assuming Treyarch will not be making a battle royale then.
That's a good question. I don't know.
You can't have two come out within a few months. What's the point of that?
Well, I mean, presumably the Treyarch BR would come out in like January of 2021, like a year later, or they just keep like their one free to play BR and then they just treat it like Fortnite, where they're just constantly evolving the map and adding new things and stuff like that. I have no idea what they're gonna do. We don't even know for sure if they're making a BR. I'd be very surprised if they weren't, but yeah, I mean, I really do feel for, like, imagine being a Treyarch employee and you normally have 3 years to make a game, and then fucking Eric Hirschberg or whoever's the CEO now, pulls you into the office and it's like, okay, well, you got to step up your entire production by a year.
I mean, something had to get axed. It simply had to.
Poor Treyarch. That's what happened with Call of Duty 3. Like, they normally had 2 years to make a game, but they wanted to release a game in between Call of Duty 2 and COD 4, so they gave them 9 months to make to make COD 3. And then the game that came out,
that game looks horrible.
It was not good. Some people swear by it, but I fucking hated that game. All right, well, this has been a fun conversation. I appreciate you lending me your time and your expertise on this series that we love so much.
Hey, thank you for having me out here. And also, I want to get this in. When this game comes out, let's get a 20-man freaking lobby of old school YouTubers together and do some pub stomping. We'll probably lose every match, actually.
Oh yeah, for sure. We need to do that.
I'm totally down.
Okay, so if people want to find you, where can they find you on Twitter and on Twitch and on
Yep, Sandy Ravage on all platforms.
Everything. You got the branding down. That's great.
Not YouTube, but who cares?
Do you want to play console blackout with me?
No, I can't do that.
That's a rhetorical
I'm an abomination. I can't do it.
I assumed you wouldn't. All right. Well, thanks, Sandy. Have a good weekend, and we'll get a game going soon, one of these days.
All right. I'll see you, Hutch.
All right, brother.